Hello, and welcome to the Pandemic Pantry. Today we are going to be making Schupfnudeln. Even if you aren't familiar with these German delicacies, you are probably familiar with their Italian cousins, gnocchi. Schupfnudeln are an excellent way to make use of potatoes which you might have hanging around in your pantry, or maybe some leftover cooked potatoes sitting in the back of your fridge. The ingredients we need are fairly basic. 500 grams of cooked potatoes, 40 grams of oil, 200 grams of flour, 1 whole egg, 1 egg yolk, a pinch of salt, and a dose of nutmeg. These simple ingredients fill me with joy that from such humble beginnings we can make such a wonderfully comforting food. I'm using 2 potatoes that have been sitting in storage for a spell. They've even started to grow. Let's beg the forgiveness of the potatoes while we break off these shoots. So sorry, Mr. Potato. The potatoes go into just enough water to cover them, and then onto the stove to cook until fully cooked. About 20 minutes. Once the potatoes have cooled to the point that you can handle them easily, we need to peel. Gently take off the skin with a small knife. Picking here and there, sometimes taking off more of the flesh than we intend, but confident that, in the end, we'll have a naked potato. If you have struggled watching the mutilation done to the potatoes during our previous manhandling, I'm sorry for this next step. Now we have to medievally mash them. Mash them into a pulp. Keep going. Mash them well. Don't worry, they can't feel anything anymore. Just think about the satisfying Schupfnudeln that are in your future. Good. Now to make the dough. Mix the oil, egg, salt, and nutmeg into our well-mashed potatoes. Don't go light on the nutmeg. It's a central flavor of Schupfnudeln. Give it all a good mix. Yes. Nice. Add in half the flour, only half, no more, and mix. Keep an eye on it. Does it need more flour? Is it holding together? This looks good. Wet, but holding together. Now lay out a good bed of flour and get the dough onto it. Knead the dough. Enjoy the supple feel of the dough under your hands as you knead it into a smooth, supple consistency. Cut off a piece and roll it to about a cigar's diameter in size. At least that's what the recipe book said. I don't smoke cigars, so I had to guess and decided on something about the size of my thumb. Cut it into pieces about 2 finger breadths in length. And now we shape. To shape, we schupf. Yes, this is the origin of the name. Schupfen means to push or shove. We want to push the dough on the counter or between our hands to create a Schupfnudeln that is bulging in the center and slightly pointed at the ends. Look at that. A little practice and it comes together. Just keep rolling. Just keep rolling. As you go, keep them well separated and dust them with flour. This might be a good activity to get the family involved in. Once they're shaped, let them rest for a short time. They've had a tough time with all this schupfing. This is a well-earned rest. While they're resting, get a soothing bath ready for them. A few liters of water, just shy of a boil, and some salt. That'll be relaxing. Now it's bath time. A few at a time, plop them into the water. Give it a stir to keep them from sticking to the bottom. No drowned Schupfnudeln. Once they float to the surface, they're ready. Gently scoop out the floating ones and place them into cool water. Like a plunge pool. Our own little Schupfnudeln spa. After they cool, out of the plunge pool and into the pan with some oil for a good rub down. Just imagine how reinvigorated our Schupfnudeln will be at the end of this. Continue in batches for the rest of the Nudeln. Once they're all done, you can either freeze them for later or immediately make some dinner. A very traditional dish for Schupfnudeln is to fry them with a little bacon and some sauerkraut. Another variation is to blanch some chopped cabbage and use that instead of the sauerkraut, which is what I've decided to do. Sizzle. Cook until the Schupfnudeln are getting just little bits of crispiness on them. Stir them gently every once in a while. Just let them fry. Season to taste, of course. Lovely. And serve. If there is anything that I haven't covered, or you'd just like to see, please let me know in the comments. This has been the Pandemic Pantry. Until next time, stay safe.